Dr. Swaminathan, I want to pull you in. You know, as elucidated by the petitioner, the discrepancies in all of this, doctor, are grave. And this pertains to the lives of lakhs of students. You know, we have 2 students here who are sitting with us who themselves have dropped 2 years just to appear for this examination. The fact is, if such grave discrepancies have appeared, the least that the NTA, the National Testing Agency, can do is be transparent. You know, you're playing with lives, young lives, looking at a career in medicine. Now, what is it that they can do now?
First, as somebody who's been a teacher for nearly 2.5 decades, let me first express my heartfelt sympathies for the students who are stuck in such a horrible situation. You know, this is not what you want to see after years of hard work. You know, this preparation starts in high school. It's not something you start in class 12. You start years ahead. There's a lot of hard work which goes into it. That's the first part. The point is that I'm worried that the whole thing is not being done in a professional manner. The idea behind NEET was to have a uniform playing field where everybody will be tested fairly and equally. The idea is good. But having said that, how do you have time issues? Who is doing all of this? Somebody's head should be rolling. See, why have we not studied models from the Western world? I have written exams, too many exams in my lifetime. My last exam was 3 years ago when I had to recertify from an American board. A 9-hour exam. And you know what? It ran like clockwork. I wrote it in India. It was done from America, proctored here. Everything went like clockwork. Why is it that they can do it and we can't do it? They'll give you excuses saying numbers. The point is that we have not looked at those models and made sure that it goes well. Let's look at this example of a question which had wrong answers. In the US model, I can't talk to you about other models. In the US model, when a new MCQ comes in, for the first 3 cycles, it is not scored. 20% of the questions are not scored. The questions are scored. Only after they consistently do well are they marked. So this is the way to ensure that dummy or rubbish questions are taken out. Why is it that rubbish questions are getting into the cycle? That should not happen. We need to have a way of ensuring that the questions are good. One of my teachers, who was actually one of the original people who wrote the, composed the exam, he told me that each MCQ takes 150 hours of work. It doesn't look like 150 hours of work went into any of these MCQs. I think more work needs to be done. So let's start with the way the whole thing is formatted. First thing is that the questions are not thought through. They are not tested carefully. They need to be pilot tested and they need to be assessed. Second, they need to be SOPs in place to make sure that this happens like clockwork. How do you not have time? How do you mismanage time? People who did that have to be fired. Who are these people? Hang them out to dry. You know, if you're a professional body, somebody has to take responsibility. You can't just hide behind it saying, galti ho gaya. It's affecting the lives of lakhs of students. I would hate to be a medical student today. I'd hate to be a medical student aspirator today because it's really scary. The numbers who are writing,
Fair
it's scary.
point, sir.
And on top of this, when we have stupid games being played like this, see, the intent was good. The intent was good. See, my concern is writing a review exam today without fixing the problems is not going to solve a problem. We're just going to create new problems. We need a deep dive. I mean, right. I have my sympathies are with the students today, but we need a deep dive to find out what is happening and to improve this based on international models so that it is more effective and less error prone.
You know, there's a lot of politics which is attached to it, and we're going to keep the politics completely out of this debate because this is a people's concern, this is a student's concern, and that for us is top priority. And Dr. Nandkumar, I want to bring you in as well. You know, just before that, I want to just why there are discrepancies which are facing us, are staring at us in the face. Earlier on, where NEET toppers were concerned, 2019, viewers, there was only one NEET topper. 2020, there was one. 2021, there were 3 NEET toppers. 2022, there was 1 NEET topper. 2023, there were 2 NEET toppers. And behold, we have 67 NEET toppers. So the question, Dr. Nandkumar, is it even possible for so many, 67 students, to actually score 720 on 720? And to add to it, a huge chunk of that comes in from one particular center, Faridabad.
Thank you. I think, what we have mentioned, like 1 topper to 67 topper. It's a little unusual, no? It's unusual, no doubt about this. But in examination process, no, we have a process of examination that is very comprehensive, tedious, and multiple steps are involved. If such thing happens, in the examination process, we can very well analyze that why it has happened. Like the the kind of question that is attempted, the which center the people are coming from, who has scored this kind of marks. So multiple processes are inbuilt in the examination system that we can contain this kind of system. And mostly what is being discussed and what is happening since last 2 days, there is a leak versus cheating. But what it appears with this discussion, that it is in selected center. So if it is selected center, so it is very, very unlikely that it is a leak. So it looks like, as per the discussion that's going on, it's a cheating. And we can look into that, why they have scored this much, why 67 toppers are there, and why they have scored 100% marks, these candidates. But it is not that difficult to understand and do some interpretation so that we can fix the problem.
But Professor, but Doctor, would you at least, admit to the fact that there's a huge problem where the National Testing Agency is concerned, where transparency comes into question, because they've come at the back of these, massive pushback by the students who've been asking questions, getting no answers. They've come back with very half-baked replies. You're not being able to understand what they really mean. For them, the excuse of getting 67 toppers and some of them from only one examination center is that, 3 lakh more aspirants have joined the list of examinees. Now, that's a little bizarre.
That does not explain very well, no? Like the number of candidates has increased, so the number of toppers have increased. It's a little unusual, not easy, in fact, to explain. But please remember this also, that NTA is conducting NEET in 2019. So they have been conducting it, and they have the set process, set standard. Why this kind of chaos happened in NEET examination 24, that they have to look into that in detail, in fact. Like they have a board.
Okay. So to look into it, at least the NTA somewhere down the line has to come and accept that clearly something's gone wrong. Now, what that wrong is needs to be investigated, and it needs to be an open investigation where the lakhs of students who've put their life on hold at least understand what went wrong. Nitin Vijay, I want to bring you back. You've been a petitioner in the case. I'm sure you've looked back. NEET's no stranger to controversies. Is it, like the doctor says, something which has only gone wrong in this term, or has it been festering ever since 2019?
No, it is not. It was not happening from 2019. Two blunders have happened this year only. The only problem is that we are not questioning the intent of NTA. The only problem is that NTA is not ready to accept. Any organization can do the mistake, any person can do the mistake, any media house can do the mistake. But the reality is that they are supposed to accept it and do the needful. It's a life of 24 lakh students. Let me put 8 major points that raises a question to the blunders the NTA have done this year. First is that the level of the paper, I am a teacher and I'm teaching for last 17 to 20 years. And we teach around about 50,000 students every year. Let me tell you, the level of the paper is similar to what it was the earlier years, like 2023. In 2023, 20.5 lakh students appeared. This year, 24 lakh students appeared. Only close to 15% student number appeared students have increased. But if you see, last year 605 marks, general category, general EWS and OBC students are getting the colleges, MBBS colleges, right? And there are 26,000 rank on 605 marks. This year on 605 marks, it is 76,000 students above 605 marks. How it is possible? It is really unbelievable to believe, right?
Right.
Second, 67 students got the top rank. I really do not want to repeat it. In case of Patna FIR, a student mentioned, it was mentioned into the FIR, a student mentioned that he got the paper one night before, he solved the paper and the same questions he got on the next day. Why we are not seeing it? Why we got the result on 4th of June? The grace marks was not mentioned into the bulletin. Why they put it into the second stage? Why it was not told to every student that if suppose there is any discrepancy in your center, just mention it, we'll allot you the grace marks. why it has been given only to 1,563 students. The students, those who have not filed the complaint, what was their, what is wrong with them? Only issue was raised, only those who have raised the complaint. Formula which was used in grace marks is utter rubbish according to me. It is nonsense. Please take care of it. It is either you want to do the normalization, then do it in a proper way. They put down it into that way that it is a rule of apex code. It is clearly mentioned that it was not for this engineering and medical exams. Again, there was a Ayushi case. It is coming continuously to the media. Her roll number was 240411840 When you open this roll number, you will not get any result. But if you replace 8 by 3, you will get the result. And what she was telling is that when she approached the NTA office or NTA people, they have sent him the email which that his OMR sheet was torn apart. I'll tell you my personal experience. When we went to the NTA office, we saw some of the parents and the student was arguing with the NTA staff, and they were telling that once they get the result, their PDF of OMR was not uploaded. When they tried to argue with the NTA people, they were not allowing them to talk. They were not allowing them to see their PDF. After so much of arguing, they give their OMR sheets, which was completely different.
Right.